Good afternoon. Hope everyone is doing great. I know I haven't been able to record. I've been kind of busy. I had my first vendor event last Sunday. Um, it was really great. It was at the Wainwright Park and here in Boston. There was a lot of vendors and a lot of food trucks and just local people in the community coming together for like a family fun day. Was able to get the podcast name out there, interact with people, tell them about the podcast and my brand, and able to network with some other vendors and business owners. So it was really great. And there was one business business owner slash vendor that was there that I'm definitely going to have on the podcast. The name of her business is the Curative Beauty. So she sells a lot of skincare products and body baths and body butters. So it was really great. But other than that, there was other local vendors as well. And so I really, like I said, my absence has been just because I was preparing for that. And I also got a puppy. So I've been juggling puppy training and just getting used to having a puppy. So she's really great. And so other than that, I just been working. I have another vendor event that's coming up in August in the Martha's Vineyard. I posted it on my page. So if you're in the area, definitely come by and check it out. It's going to be a lot of black vendors. I think it's anybody, but I know it's a lot of black vendors because it's a black owned company that is throwing the event. And so that is August 12th in Martha's Vineyard and Oak Bluffs, one of those names in Martha's Vineyard. So it'll be fun. That'll be in the middle of summer too, so it'll be great. The weather will be great. Actually, Sunday the weather was really good here in Boston, so it was good to have the cookout when we did. And that was thrown from She Plans Events. That's another local Boston company that throws a lot of events, and so she's the one her and her mom put the event together, and it happens like every year. So that was really great. And again, that was at Wainwright Park here in Boston. And so other than that, like I said, I've just been working on making more designs and kind of just getting my life together to try to juggle everything. But I definitely want to still be consistent with the episodes if I can. And so today's episode, I'm not really even sure what it will be called, but I came across it and I felt like it resonated with me. And it's pretty it's relative because I think a lot of people are dealing with this in some aspects, especially with the way that COVID has changed communication with people and affected people in so many different ways. And so this post I'm going to read, it's a couple slides, but it's from Instagram that I got it from. And the woman who posted it, her name is Luvvie, Luvvie. I've seen her post before. And so I'm going to read it and then I'll dissect it like I always do. So if you hear anything in the back, that's my puppy. That's Janae. She's making her little noise. But anyway, so it says, sometimes, parentheses often, I think about the ways that we center ourselves in someone else's life, making ourselves the main character in their journey and creating stories about them that have nothing to do with them. I think about how unhealthy it is that so many of us engage in it so often. Someone didn't pick up your call. Now you think that they're mad at you. Meanwhile, they're underwater trying to get their own lives together. Someone forgot to wish you a happy birthday. Now you think they no longer care about you, but they're going through all sorts of chaos. Someone had a weird tone on a call with you and you think you guys have beef. Meanwhile, they might have just gotten terrible news that day. You might be upset at someone right now because of stories you've created in your head that you haven't allowed the other person to debunk. I wonder how many good relationships and friendships and connections we've ruined from the stories we've told ourselves and from our inability to use our words to say, hey, let's talk. Our lack of vulnerability, our projections, our passive aggression, what have we lost because of it? And so under that post, it says, we are programmed to be selfish, but your world isn't other people's worlds. The grace we often crave to receive is the grace we should give to other people. So in case you needed a sign, consider this post it. Call that person you've missed. Say, let's talk instead of the silent treatment. That's clearly not working for you because you're mad. You're big mad. Meanwhile, they have no clue. Use your words, because the conflict you think you're avoiding is eating you up. Use your words. So, I thought this was interesting. I feel like I've gone through it with family members, whether that be me thinking the other person is upset or vice versa. And I think, or just friends too, or just people in general, right? Because a lot of the times, I know for myself, when I'm going through something, I like to deal with it by myself. I don't always like to go to people, or if I do, like I'll let them know what's going on. But sometimes, depending on what the situation is, I just need to withdraw, or I'm not going to necessarily let them in to fix it, right? Sometimes you just feel like you just want to fix it yourself, or you just want to kind of sit in whatever emotion that you're in. And so I think that a lot of times, like it says, we're selfish. Like, we're programmed to be selfish. We think that because we're having a great day and maybe we have something to share with somebody, and say you call your friend and you say, oh, you know what, I just got a job offer or whatever, something like that, right? And if their energy isn't matching what you're looking, like what you have behind it and what you're looking for, you could automatically think, oh, they're hating on me, or they're not, like, why is she acting like that, or something like that. But meanwhile, maybe they just got news they lost their job and they don't want to rain on your parade, right? Or they don't want to give you, like, just rain on the energy that you have. And it could just be that they are hating, but like, you never know. And I think that's what she's saying, is like, before you make a judgment and write people off, you should at least give them the benefit of the doubt to debunk whatever story it is that you've told to yourself, right? And yeah, hey, let's talk goes a long way. You can literally save someone's life with that. And we also have to practice, like, being vulnerable, right? And not projecting. Sometimes I think that we as humans, when we're going through something, if we're not feeling our best selves, then we will attack others. And it's not even like on purpose. It's just, sometimes that's just how people deal with things. And it's not a great practice, but it's something that a lot of people deal with, and sometimes you don't even realize that you're doing that. Sometimes you don't realize that your tone is very, like, rude to people, or you might not realize that your energy is very, like, draining. And because you're going through something, and maybe it's heightened because you're trying to hide whatever it is that you're going through, or maybe not hide, but you feel like, oh, I just want to go through this myself. I don't want to put anybody else in this, but like, you're still actually projecting it. And unfortunately, sometimes you do end up losing things with that. You lose friendships, you lose relationships, you lose connections, all because you didn't have a conversation. And so I think what it's saying, the point of this post is, like, use your words. Like, the best and also, like, the least thing that you can do is have a conversation. If the person is rejecting the conversation or resistant to it, then you just give them the space, and if they want to come to you when they're ready, they will. But at least you give that offer, right? You don't just write people off or write things off just because of something that a scenario or a reason that you've created in your head, because you don't know what that person's going through. And a lot of times also, again, it's kind of rooted in selfishness. Is like, people don't owe you an explanation of why they're behaving a certain way all the time. If somebody is feeling depressed, or they're feeling sad, or they're feeling confused, or just they're not their upbeat selves, or just not in a positive space, they don't owe you positive energy just because it's making you uncomfortable, or you're not understanding what's going on with them, maybe because they haven't told you everything. Like, that's something that I've been learning too, not only just from other people, but from me too. Like, I don't have to tell, if I'm going, like, when I'm going through something, like when I've lost my job, I don't have to go around and tell my whole family and friends. So I can tell people that I want to tell, not because I'm trying to be, like, mean or selective. It's just like, I just don't want, sometimes you just don't want to, when you're going through negative things, sometimes you don't want to tell too many people, because that just can attract more negativity, in the sense of, you don't know how that person's going to react. And if they don't react in a way that you're looking for, it can make things worse for you. So I think it is partly like responsible to be like selective of who you tell when things are going on and how you handle certain situations in your lives. And but at the same time, learning to treat and handle it healthy, like still being able to talk to somebody. If you don't want to talk to your friends, your family, or whoever else, maybe just talk to a therapist, a professional, someone. You can't just sit in your room or sit in silence about it and think it's going to go away, because that's just not how the human mind works. The human mind is going to make that problem, thought, whatever it is, grow bigger, because that's just how the brain is designed. Your thoughts are going to create more thoughts related to the issue and make it bigger than what it is, because that's just how our brains are wired. That's why we have a heart and a brain, right? Your feelings, like when you're feeling something, if you ever notice that, like when you're feeling something and if you focus on that, it just grows, right? When you're feeling like sad or something, it's just going to keep growing. You're going to find all of a sudden your brain is going to start reminding you of things that make you sad, and it's not to make you like it's not doing it on purpose. It's just that's how the brain is created. That's how it's wired. Like once you start thinking of something and feeling something, it goes to find those things to support what you're feeling. That's why they always say it's important to be mindful of your feelings and the things that you say and believe, because feelings are fleeting. One day, we've all experienced, one day we might feel good, the next day we might not. Maybe in the morning you didn't have a great morning, but by the end of the day you're feeling better. Like feelings are fleeting, and so you can never really use feelings to make a decision. You have to think logically as well. Combine the two. It doesn't mean choose one or the other. You have to learn how to balance between the two, and that takes practice. And so I like the part where it says the grace that we often crave to receive is the grace we should give to other people. I think that is important too. A lot of the times I know for me, I forget to give grace, but I always do want grace from people, just because I know for me, a lot of the times, if I'm asking somebody for help, that means it's not even that it's really bad. It's just that I've already tried to figure it out on my own in various different ways, and the ways that I've been trying is not working. And so now I'm going to that resolution where there are some people who, as soon as a problem comes, they'll ask somebody else for help, because they don't, maybe they don't want to figure it out, or they feel like they can't figure it out, or they feel better or more secure figuring it out with someone else's help. Me, on the other hand, I feel better when I figure it out on my own, or at least I can come to a conclusion of something on my own. But I also understand that I can't figure out everything, so receiving help in some ways is helpful to me too. And like I said, learning how to give people grace, no matter what the situation is. Even if you have somebody who, you guys are usually close, and that person's just being really distant, and you've tried to be patient and friendly with them and try to get it, and maybe you'll receive some backlash from them, whether it be like just unusual attitude, or like unusual just energy, like they're just not themselves, they're very down, or just the opposite of themselves, or the opposite of a positivity. And you can ego wise, you're gonna get to a point where you're like, all right, well, forget it then, right? Because I'm not about to make a grown adult tell me what's going on with them. I can only ask you so many times. I can only help you in so many ways if you don't help. I know that we've all heard it. You can't help people who don't want to help themselves, and that is true. But at the same time, we are supposed to extend some grace. So even if you tried a couple of times and that person was resistant each time, maybe step back, give them and yourself some space, and then come back to it and try again. And you never know, at that time that you try again, that was the time that they're gonna tell you what's going on, or that was a time where they were at their very, very lowest, and you reaching out saved them. So when you get that urge to reach out to somebody, you get that little nudge, or you get that thought in your head like, oh, you know what, I haven't heard from this person in a while, but maybe the last time you talked there was some type of like not altercation, but some type of like negative energy between the two of you. Learn how to set that aside and give them grace, and try to you try to try it again, right? And I think when you try it again, you might just get the result that you're looking for. So I thought this post was really helpful and interesting, because I think, again, with COVID, I think a lot of people suffered with being alone, living alone, or just being isolated from family and friends, and learning how to cope on their own, and a lot of just emotions and mental health problems came up for a lot of people, because when you're sitting in solitude like that, you have time to really think about your thoughts and think about your feelings, and everything starts to come up. And especially if you're seeking therapy, you're just going to come unpack a lot of things. And with that, because we're human, we're going to have those days where we are going to feel bad, or we're going to feel negative some days, or have an up down, have a down day. Sorry, that's my dog in the back. And but we have to learn how to give yourself, more importantly, but other people, grace. And also at the same time, practice boundaries and know when enough is enough, and like, all right, I gotta let them figure it out on their own, right? My help or my trying to help is not what they need. It's something else that they need. And just pray that they're gonna find the resolution for themselves, right? So yeah, I thought this post was interesting, helpful, and it's true. Like, a lot of the times, just we have to kind of take those steps back and think about, like, all right, am I making this situation about me, or is it really something else underlying? Because I feel like a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, when people are not behaving themselves in situations that involve relationships, it's because something else is going on internally, whether it be emotionally or just mentally, physically, spiritually, medically. You never know, right? So I think that a lot of times we have to take that into consideration with people. It doesn't mean allow people to step all over you, but it does mean to be like, all right, clearly something's going on with this person. My choice is to keep engaging with them in this state and make things worse, to a point where maybe, you don't want to get to a point where you two no longer communicate because someone says something so out of pocket that it can't be forgiven. But you also don't want to just say, well, all right, well, I tried, forget it. And then you will feel bad if something happens to that person, or there was something that was really serious going on that maybe they just weren't ready to tell you. They didn't know how to tell you. I've definitely been in that space before too. Like, I'm going through something, and it's not that I don't want to share it with someone. I just don't know how to even tell that person, because I'm still trying to grasp it myself. And everybody's different. Everybody handles things differently. And sometimes when a certain event might occur in your life, that you might be able to brush off, but if it happens to somebody else, they take that very harsh, and it really disturbs their whole peace, and they might not be able to handle things differently. So we have to consider that too, that everybody's heart is built differently, everybody's mind is different, everybody just handles situations differently. And so that's why it's important to extend grace to people and allow people to have the space to, we're all adults, we got to figure out things on our own, but we still also should have the resources to get help when we need it. And so if you can be that resource to someone, please do so. And even if you don't know the answer, maybe you can connect them with someone who does, right? So it's always just important to keep those things into consideration. The only main character in someone's journey is, like, you're your own main character in your journey. That's it. You're not the main character in somebody else's journey, no matter who it is. And just keeping that in mind, and it can be very helpful and can help you maintain relationships. Like I said, I've been in situations with family and friends where, their energy is very off, or something is off, and, we just don't have those conversations, and the relationship fizzles. I know for me, usually, I'm not saying that I'm right all the time, but I will say that I am the type of person. I'm going to ask you a couple times, like, are you all right? Like, is everything cool? Are we good? You know what I'm saying? But after a while, I'm going to let you do what you need to do. Like, that's because that works for me. Because I know for me, mentally and emotionally, I can't sit there and keep dealing with someone projecting negative energy on me, because then you're starting to impact my life for something that I don't even know if it has anything to actually do with me, or just what you don't even maybe know what the real problem for yourself is, right? And you just don't want to allow anything or anybody to mess up your energy and your flow. So just being able to understand that, and like I said, have grace for people, have grace for yourself, but also know when enough is enough. And we're all we're all human. When somebody wants to be involved with you or talk to you, they're going to make the effort to do so. They'll come back around, and if they don't, then that chapter of the story is over, and you have to accept that and be okay with that and move on to the next chapter. So I hope this was helpful. Again, I'm Chanel. This is Black Hippie Lounge. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Black Hippie Lounge. There you can also find the link to my website, which I'm trying to revamp. So give me some time because I need to add more t-shirts and hoodies and different designs. I'm going to try to add some kids stuff too. So I'm a one woman show, so I'm trying to do it all. But I appreciate your patience, and yeah, like I said, I'm going to try to update those so that you guys can be able to make purchases if you're interested. If you want to be a guest on the show, please DM me, email me, message me, text me, whatever. I'm definitely having my books open to do more interviews. I would love to, especially throughout the summer. So please shout me out, message me. Like I said, if you have someone if you know someone a small business owner who might want to be interested in having an interview to kind of get themselves out there too, I'm interested in that too. So connections, let's do that, networking, whatever the case may be. But as always, I'm Chanel. This is Black Hippie Lounge. Meditate, manifest, invest in you, and take care. And give yourself grace. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel.